I feel like there's a lot of shifts that people are going through right now. I think it's quite relatable to say that there's a lot of confusion in the air. There's a lot of changes, a lot of reinterpretations of who we are as a person, who we want to be, what we're striving for, maybe what we're trying to manifest. In the past few months, like astrologically, energetically, there's just been a lot of stuff happening. And I think we can all feel that. And for sure, like, everyone is different, so everyone is going through it in a different way. And I think a lot of people might be riding that wave really high and easily. But then there's other people who are feeling maybe stuck in that confusion, like I have personally, maybe overwhelmed, even confused. Everyone that I've talked to about it is feeling the same way as I am, where we're feeling a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish in what we want to do and what we're trying to accomplish and the things that we want to pursue and the things that we want to create in our lives. It just feels like it's not going like this, sometimes we feel like, wow, everything is like working out, everything is popping up for me, and now it's just not that feeling. And that's okay, right? That's okay. But the point is to realize that many people are feeling that way. If you're feeling like that and you're feeling alone in it, or you're feeling like, oh my god, what's going on with me, something's wrong, nothing is wrong, you're okay. A lot of people are going through the same thing as you are, and that's kind of the point of this video. I think a lot of the time we feel, even though we might have people who are able to talk to, we know we have friends for support, we know how we have family for support, we sometimes might feel like we can't go there because we might feel misunderstood, or we don't even know how to put words to our feelings. And I think that's when we can be sort of stuck in that stagnation and that chaos and that confusion and not know how to get out of it, and at the same time feel alone. So I want to start by saying, like, if you're feeling a lot of emotions and that's what's making you feel kind of stuck and confused, which was the case for me, the reason that you're feeling that way might be because you don't know how to put those emotions into words, right? Like, you don't know how to translate what you're feeling because it's so much, because it's so chaotic. You don't know how to translate that to another person. And in that sense, you might also feel like they won't understand. They won't really get what you're going through. And I'm here to tell you, I get you. I really get you. I get I want to say even like muddiness and muckiness of the emotions that are all like bunched up. Like, I sort of feel like I'm feeling like sadness and anger and happiness and everything at the same time, that it kind of turns into this ball that's like I don't know what to do with this, right? And so if you're feeling that way, just know that if you do have someone to talk to, just even saying like, I feel this way, you'll probably get a response back that says, yeah, me too. If you don't get that response, that's okay as well, obviously, right? Like, you just expressing what you're feeling already will help you lift a bit of that heaviness, because when we start to speak about something, like, even as I'm speaking about this now, I'm already feeling like a shift in the emotions that were stuck in me. Because when we put words to something, we kind of give it a space outside of our body. Like, we're actually expressing through that sound that we're making with our language that feeling, and that kind of gives space beyond your body to that feeling. So I really recommend talking to someone if you can, even though you might think that they don't understand. Or, like me, filming a video, even if you're not going to post it anywhere, you can just talk to a camera and then just delete that video, right? Or even journaling. Like, journaling is quite similar in the sense that you're taking those emotions inside you and putting words to them and taking them out of your body. Another reason why you might be feeling that loneliness through that confusion is because you may have attached a sense of shame to what you're feeling. So I think we're all very used to just growing up in a society where we are prescribed a certain path. So like, we're born, right? And then we're expected to finish school at a certain age, normally around 18. And then we're expected to go to university. And then we're expected to develop a career, that we're supposed to work in for the rest of our lives. At some point in there, we're supposed to get married, we're supposed to have children, and then we die. And that's just like the classic prescribed path that I feel like everyone is told we have to be on. And whenever anyone deviates off of that path, subconsciously, it's easy to feel shame around that because we're so used to hearing that as we were growing up, as we were conditioned into believing that that way is the right way. It became so subconscious in us that anything that doesn't fit that narrative is kind of flagged in our brains as like, oh no, like this isn't right. And I think like subconsciously that can bring shame. So whenever we feel confused and like we don't know where we're going, or we don't know our path, or we lack answers to the questions that we have ourselves, or even the questions we have to other people around us, we might feel like we're doing something wrong. Like we're supposed to be somewhere else. We're supposed to be different. Like we're supposed to, have everything figured out, which is not true. Like no one in their life ever has at every moment everything figured out. That's just not possible. And I think just recognizing if you're feeling that shame, or even if you don't see yourself feeling that shame, like recognizing like if you're feeling in any way like you're doing something wrong by being confused and not knowing what your path is, that is just the conditioning that we got as children growing up in a society that is fueled by productivity, and just becoming aware of that shame or that feeling of maybe even guilt that you're not knowing where you're going, or you don't know what you're doing already brings light to it. It's no longer in the shadow. So if you know what shadow work is and like what shadow is in psychology, it's basically the aspects of ourselves that we kind of covered up, put in a little box, put it somewhere deep inside of us so that no one will ever see it, we will never see it, and that in that way we can be lovable. Right? It's like those aspects of ourselves that we never want to share with anyone because we're afraid that if they're shared and if they're known, we will be unloved, ostracized, abandoned. Because at some point, maybe in our childhood, that we either witnessed that or we felt that. Like we did something and then our parent or guardian or whoever, teacher got angry at us, or, like scolded us for doing a certain thing, and then we put that in our shadow. The way we heal that shadow, which I think I'll just do a separate video about because it's a huge topic, is just bringing it into awareness, right? And then like shifting that narrative, shifting that pattern. But already with the shame that I was talking about, with that guilt, that feeling like, oh no, I'm doing something wrong, if you shed light on it, which means become aware of it, see that in yourself, see the ways you're feeling shame, already that is a pathway to healing that and basically becoming free of it. Like it no longer dictates who you are and what you're gonna do. And also just a reminder that you don't have to be what anyone else tells you to be, and you don't have to follow what anyone else tells you to follow. There's no actual physical barrier to you doing what you want, right? It's only about the self-doubt and our own perception of other people's expectation of us that holds us from living the life that we just want to live. There's really nothing stopping you from living that life. It's just that fear, that shame, that guilt, that resistance to being who you truly are that stops you. That's really it. Knowing that it's within you, it's just you're irresponsible, you're in charge of how you're feeling about who you want to become, is the only thing that's stopping you from becoming who you want to become. You have the power within you to change those emotions, to shift them, to heal them so that you can become who you want to be. The last thing I want to say about the reasons why we might be feeling alone is because we compare ourselves to other people naturally, right? It's like a social, psychological survival mechanism that we have to look to other people and see what they're doing so that we kind of know how to fit in, how to be in community. But the issue here is that when we compare ourselves to other people, we don't see them as holy as we see ourselves. As holy, I mean like as a whole, not like holy, but like as completely as we see ourselves. So we know ourselves so intimately that we see ourselves in the good and the bad that we have. We see everything. We know every step that we took in our life. We were the ones who were there, right? But when we look at other people, we don't know the struggles that they've gone through, all the struggles. We also don't know all the great parts that they had. But when we tend to see others and we see the things that they have that maybe we want, or the things that they're really successful in that we're lagging behind in, we only see that tiny bit of success. We only see that tiny bit of the things that we want, but we don't see the path that they took to get there. We don't see their struggles. We don't see the hardships that they went through or the insecurities that they might be having in that moment. Like we only see that tiny bit of them. And it's important to remember that we can easily be led astray, like mentally, to believe that that person is just that good part that we see. Just knowing that, I think, helps to become aware of where you're comparing yourself to other people that have the things that you might want, that cause you to overlook the possible struggles that they went through and feel bad in the struggles that you are going through. And to end this video, I just want to give you a couple of tips, 3 tips that are very simple, that might be more reminders than tips, because like they're honestly kind of obvious, but that helped me like more than I expected them to help me move through this feeling of like confusion and uncertainty and not knowing where I am or where I'm going or even who I am at some points. And the first thing, I don't know why I didn't discover this earlier, but it's to search, like Google search or YouTube search, even better, the state that you're in or the state that you want to be in. So the reason this is so good is, one, you'll get to see other people going through that struggle that you might be in, and also like getting out of that struggle. And that can give you a lot of ideas on that you might not have thought of yourself on how to move forward. At the same time, it's very validating and comforting to see someone in the same position as you, or who was in the same position as you and is doing good now. That's even better. And let me give you an example. I recently, well, through this confusion and all, I've been doing like a lot of shadow work, a lot of like journaling, a lot of like meditations, you know, to figure out like, why am I even in this space? And I came across like a root block that I have from childhood, which is I always feel like I need to be in control of how I'm being perceived. And this is all subconscious, right? Like I didn't do this on purpose, but I just need to be in control so that I know that I will be loved and I'll be safe and I'll be protected. Because in childhood, I felt like if I wasn't in control, if I was irresponsible, if I forgot something, I was kind of shamed for it. Like I was made to feel like that's unlovable. And like, it's not about blaming how I was raised or anything like that. It's just, this is just a pattern that I picked up and I wanted to work through. Then on the opposite end of that, control, which is very masculine energy, I realized what I really wanted was to be in that feminine energy of surrender, of trust, of being able to let go and like lay back and know that everything that I want can come to me and I'm worthy of that. And what I did was very simple. I searched on YouTube for how to be more in your feminine energy, how to release control. And there's so much resources. Like there's so many people talking about this topic, and I'm sure any topic that you feel like you would want to dive into. And that helped me so much. Like that really, how would I say it? Like it expanded my perspective about, one, how many people are interested in this topic, which means that they also struggled with that topic. And 2, like the information that there is to change this. Like I know any situation has a solution to it. I truly believe that. And the point is that watching these videos helped me see actual practical solutions that I can use to move into where I want to be and move away from that limiting belief that was dictating how I'm living my life. I can honestly like even guarantee you that watching those people and like expanding your perspective and seeing people in the same struggle move out of that struggle will help you believe that you can do it too. So the second reminder, more than tip, is that knowing that whatever confusion or ickiness or murkiness or like even negative emotions that you might be feeling intensely right now, they might be the exact ingredient to the recipe of the dream life that you want to create. So it could be that right on the other side of this period of time where you're healing or you're going through something emotionally challenging, right on the other side is the exact manifestation that you want. Like people often say, you know, like after storm comes calmness or something like that, right? Like that after the most intense period of change and confusion and transformation and chaos comes a moment of stillness and in a sense being able to receive. Just like know, or like at least try to embody that belief that whatever you're going through is exactly what you need to get you to where you want to be. Because you're probably watching this video, you're probably manifesting something right now, or like you're if not manifesting, you have a goal in mind, or you have somewhere where you want to get to, either in terms of career, or in terms of love, or in terms of travel, or money, or whatever it is. Like there's some kind of goal that you're reaching for, something that you want, and you can never know what tomorrow is going to bring. No one ever knows what the future is going to bring. And what if this exact problem, if you're facing a problem, or this exact trip up, or just emotional turmoil that you're feeling, is the perfect thing to bring you exactly what you want. A mantra related to this that I really like to repeat and like remind myself of is this or something better. So that means that whenever something goes wrong, or whenever you're asking for something, tell yourself this or something better. When something goes wrong, just by having that belief that this didn't work out because something better is going to come in for me, so that problem was sort of a redirection, is very comforting, because you can trust that whatever choices that you make, you'll be in the right place at the right time. And then if you're also just manifesting something, and like there's no problem that happened, but you're just asking for something, by saying this or something better, you remain open to the possibilities that you can't even imagine. So we tend to have a limited view of things that we want from a very egoic perspective. You know, maybe you want, if you're calling in a partner, for example, maybe you're looking for someone who's super hot. Or if you're calling in a career, you might be looking for something that's going to bring you tons of money. But you don't know if there's something even better that'll make you even happier by just focusing on this one specific thing. And so by saying this or something better, you're remaining open to your soul guiding you basically to something even possibly better than what you can even imagine. And the final tip and reminder is that emotions are so fleeting. And I think we tend to forget when we're in heavy emotions like anger, sadness, fear, we tend to forget that emotions are not going to last forever. And we also, when we're in a deep, heavy emotion, our intellectual capacity, like our problem-solving skills, kind of shut down a little. Like the prefrontal cortex that's responsible for problem solving is not functioning as well when you're in really heavy emotions. That's just because of the survival mechanisms in our brain. And that means that you can't think straight. And that means that if you're really in a heavy emotion, it's, even though you might remember, okay, this is just this is gonna pass, this too shall pass, this is just fleeting, it's difficult to believe that. But repeating that to yourself and giving yourself the space and honestly the compassion and self-love to be able to feel whatever you're feeling and not force yourself or rush yourself through that emotion can be very helpful. And then once you get through that emotion, you process, you heal, then make the decisions, then take the actions. But it's truly about a sense of love, self-love, and self-respect to be able to let yourself be in whatever you're feeling and not have to feel wrong about it, or not have to feel shame that you're feeling a certain way, or not have to feel like you have to rush through the process. So really giving yourself that compassion, but also remembering that every emotion is fleeting. I hope this helps you at least feel a sense of comfort and a sense of like relatability through what you're going through, because that's what I really found helped me with watching videos of people who have been in similar struggles or going through a similar thing or have gone out of a similar thing. And I can tell you, like, this kind of process is never like linear. So it's a wave going up and down, but it tends to usually go progressively up with any kind of personal growth, right? And that's just something to keep in mind, that even though you might be in a dip, moving through that dip and trying to ask yourself, how can I grow from this, can be very helpful to then like zoom out and look at the bigger picture of your growth. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you like my content, like if you like my content, and comment down below if you have any questions or comments, even like anything that comes to mind that is related to this video, or any other tips that you might think is helpful for other people out there. And I'm wishing you the best of luck in where you are.